Hello, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. Uh, Your Excellency, Mr. Sugiyama Akira, Embassy of Japan in Sri Lanka. Your Excellency, Mr. Sanjiv Gunasekara, Embassy of Sri Lanka in Japan. Dr. KISHI Teruo, Director General, Sakura Science Program, Japan Science and Technology Agency. Dr. Thamara, Additional Director, National Science Foundation. Professor Monte Cassin, and distinguished invitees and members of the Sakura Science Club Alumni Association of Sri Lanka. It is a great pleasure for me to be with you today. Let me introduce myself first. My name is J.G. Shantasiri, Head of the International Liaison Division of the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka. We are now ready to start the second alumni meeting of the Sakura Science Club Alumni Association of Sri Lanka, co-hosted by the Alumni Association, National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka, and Japan Science and Technology Agency. So as per the agenda today, the first item is welcome. I cordially invite Dr. Thamara, Additional Director, National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka, to welcome the audience. Over to you, madam.
Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan in Sri Lanka, Mr. Sugiyama Akira, and Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka in Japan, Mr. Sanjiv Gunasekara, Professor Monte Cassin, President of the Graduate School of Leadership and Innovation of Jagas University, Dr. Kishi, the Director General, Sakura Science Program of JST, Dr. H.D. Karunaratne, Director of Science, Director of University of Tokyo, Sri Lanka Office, and the President of Japanese Graduates Alumni Association of Sri Lanka, officials of all organizations, and the members of the alumni, the invitees, and Mr. Shantasiri, the head of the International Liaison Division, and the NSF officers. It's so wonderful to get connected with all of you on a virtual platform like this, despite all constraints the globe is experiencing currently. It is indeed so great to see you all, Your Excellencies, and so many enthusiastic scholars of the Japanese Graduates Alumni Association of Sri Lanka joining with its second alumni meeting online today. I'm intensely happy and passionate to deliver the welcome speech at this occasion on behalf of the National Science Foundation and the JST. The JST, under various programs, including Sakura, has supported Sri Lankan students, professionals, and academics, and this figure is significant, which reaches to around 329 for the last 4 years. So we are very grateful to the JST for facilitating a conducive environment for our young researchers to become future research leaders in the S&T sector of Sri Lanka. Formation of Sakura Science Club Alumni Association is one of the mechanisms of JST towards fostering young researchers. We anticipate that the country could get more benefits and initiate more impactful work jointly with the JST in future. The NSF believes that the Memorandum of Cooperation signed between the NSF and the JST in 2017, aiming at strengthening bilateral cooperation, can be strengthened further for enhancing exchange programs for mutual benefit. This will immensely play a crucial role, especially in addressing the current issues in the science and technology sector. So with this small introduction, I'm very pleased to welcome Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan in Sri Lanka, Mr. Sugiyama Akira, and Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka in Japan, Mr. Sanjiv Gunasekara, for being with us at this second alumni meeting of the Sri Lanka Sakura Science Club Alumni Association. We greatly value your presence here and appreciate your valuable time taken to share your deliberations with us. We would also warmly welcome Professor Bonti Kasim, the President of the Graduate School, Dr. H.D. Karunaratne, the Director of University of Tokyo, Sri Lanka Office, and the President of the Alumni Association, and the members, and the distinguished guests and invitees, and all the officials of the NSF and other organizations. On behalf of the Japan Science and Technology Agency and the National Science Foundation to this second alumni meeting. We value your effort taken to extend your cooperation to get the work of this association fruitful. I strongly believe that this meeting will further pave the way to strengthen ties and networks among the Sakura Science Club members in Sri Lanka and Japan, and will lead to work on possible collaborative projects to enhance essential knowledge and skills of young researchers who will be the future researchers, science communicators, science administrators, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and inventors of this country. So wishing you a very fruitful meeting ahead. I conclude my welcome speech here. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Thamara, for your warm welcome and enlightening the JST-NSF partnership and future prospect. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite Dr. KISHI Teruo, Director General, Sakura Science Program, Headquarters, Japan Science and Technology Agency. Over to you, madam.
Distinguished guests, speakers, Sakura alumni members, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for participating in this alumni meeting online. My name is KISHI Teruo, Director General of Sakura Science Program Headquarters of JST. As many of you know, the Sakura Science Program is a program to invite talented young people from all over the world to Japan for a short period of time in order for them to explore the possibility of revisiting Japan in future. JST started this program in 2014 and has invited more than 33,000 people so far. As for Sri Lanka, this program started in 2015 and has supported the invitation of over 300 people so far, from high school, universities, research institutes, government agencies, of course, including NSF of Sri Lanka. I'm quite confident that if you visit foreign countries, especially Japan, and experience the difference and diversity there, it will surely broaden your horizons and benefit your future career. Now, considering the importance of the relationship between Sri Lanka and Japan, as well as the high potential of the people of Sri Lanka, I hope that more and more people of Sri Lanka will visit Japan by our program. As you remember, we held the first Alumni Association meetings in Colombo in February 2019, and with the support of NSF, we formed the Sakura Science Club Alumni Association of Sri Lanka. And today we are able to hold this second alumni meeting online despite COVID-19. I'm very much pleased with it and would like to express my gratitude to NSF, alumni coordinators, and all the alumni members. In addition, JST would like to provide our best support to the Sakura alumni so that the alumni members will again come back to Japan as a place to study, work, and research. Please enjoy today's meeting. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. And of course, hope pandemic situation will disappear in future. As you highlighted, Sri Lankan young researchers will have next opportunity to visit Japan and get this all the exposure as highlighted by you. Thank you very much, sir. The next item of the program is the message from Ms. OBUCHI Yuko, member of the House of Representatives, Japan, Chief Secretary, Japan Sri Lanka Parliamentary Friendship Association. Over to you, madam.
皆様こんにちは。衆議院議員の小渕優子です。日本スリランカ友好議員連盟の事務局長として、桜サイエンスクラブスリランカ同窓会が本日オンラインで開催されるにあたり、お祝いのメッセージを送らせていただきます。まずスリランカでは新型コロナウイルス感染症に毎日3000人ほどの方々が感染をし、社会生活に大きな影響を与えていると聞いています。感染症の方々が一日も早くご回復されるとともに、感染が早期に収束するようお祈りを申し上げます。スリランカと日本は1952年のサンフランシスコ平和条約の発効を機に国交を樹立し、来年で70周年を迎えます。この平和条約会議において、故ジャヤワルダナ大統領が、憎悪は憎悪によってやむことはなく、慈愛によってのみやむとのブッダの言葉を引用し、日本も再び国際社会の一員として受け入れようとしたお考えは、その後の日本の急速な復活のきっかけともなりました。それ以来、両国の首相と要人の往来が活発化するなど、スリランカと日本の間には強い信頼関係が築かれ、お互いを尊重し、尊敬し合う大切なパートナーであります。私自身も2002年に初めてスリランカを訪問して以来、機会があるごとに訪れていますが、その度に皆様からの温かいおもてなし、そしてスリランカの魅力と可能性に感銘したことを忘れることができません。教育や科学技術な分野でも両国は強い結びつきがあります。スリランカからは多くの留学生が日本で学んでおりますし、研究交流も活発に行われています。桜サイエンスプログラムでは、これまでにスリランカから約330人の若者が訪日し、日本の科学技術や伝統文化も体験されたと聞いており、大変素晴らしいことだと考えています。2019年2月にそれまでに桜サイエンスプログラムで招聘された皆さんがコロンボに集い、第1回の同窓会が開催され、大変盛況であったと聞いています。本日第2回同窓会は新型コロナウイルス感染症の対応のためにオンラインで開催されますが、この会は皆さんの将来の人生や相互交流、あるいは日本への留学や研究活動を考えていく上で大いに役に立つものになっていただきたいと考えています。人と人との交流は国の発展と国家間協力の基盤であり、困難な中でも継続されなければなりません。桜サイエンスプログラムは科学技術を通じた人と人との交流を進め、お互いの理解や信頼関係を深めるものです。私自身、また日本スリランカ友好議員連盟として桜サイエンスプログラムの活動が今後とも大きく発展するよう強力に支援をしていきたいと考えています。難しい時だからこそ、私たちは改めて不確実な時代を生き抜いていくという覚悟と知恵、絆と勇気を持って進んでいくことが重要だと考えています。その時に人と人との信頼関係こそが支えであり、桜サイエンスプログラムはそのために 大切な事業になると思っています。本日ご参加の皆さんがスリランカと日本の架け橋になっていただいて、またそれぞれがそれぞれの分野で素晴らしいリーダーとなって大いに活躍されることを心からお祈りし、私からはのメッセージとさせていただきます。どうもありがとうございました。
Thank you, madam, for your encouraging words, and hope, as you highlighted, pandemic situation will permit us the celebration of 70th anniversary of our the friendship between two countries, and we are optimistic that with your support and strength, our young researchers will be able to have more benefits through the Sakura science program. Thank you very much. As per the agenda item, the next item is the speech from His Excellency the Ambassador. Now I cordially invite His Excellency Mr. Sugiyama Akira, Ambassador, Embassy in Japan in Sri Lanka. Over to you, sir.
Dear alumni members of Sakura Exchange Program in Science, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to participate in this online Sakura Science Club second alumni meeting, Sakura Science and Beyond. I would like to commend National Science Foundation, Japan Science and Technology Agency, and Sri Lanka Sakura Science Club Alumni Association for organizing this event despite the unprecedented challenges posed by COVID-19. I appreciate the kind invitation, and it is my great pleasure to speak a few words at this August event. Talented young people in the field of science and technology are driving forces for economic growth. Japan and Sri Lanka have strengthened cooperation in developing human resources in this field. In this respect, the Sakura Exchange Program in Science, or the Sakura Science Plan, have been making a great contribution by giving young Sri Lankans opportunity to experience advanced science and technology in Japan. I should also note that the Sakura Science Plan have done so much in promoting exchanges of youth between Japan and Sri Lanka. This alumni meeting itself clearly shows the close bond of friendship nurtured through this exchange program. I understand that the Sakura Science Plan had to limit itself to online exchange programs last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Although there is no doubt that you can learn a lot from online programs, I strongly hope that the young Sri Lankan friends will be able to visit Japan to enjoy the real benefits of this precious exchange program in the not so distant future. I hope that this alumni meeting will be a good platform to share your experiences while bringing Japan and Sri Lanka closer in the area of science and technology. In addition, as I said 2 years ago, I would like the alumni members present today to keep in touch with your Japanese friends you found through this program. With many lessons learned from this pandemic, Japan and Sri Lanka should further collaborate in converting challenges into opportunities. Japan will continue to deepen our dialogue and cooperation with Sri Lanka to provide development assistance, including in the areas of human resources development, in response to the genuine needs of the Sri Lankan people. Last but not least, I would like to offer my heartfelt congratulations to the Sakura Science Club alumni meeting. and highly commend the National Science Foundation, the Japan Science and Technology Agency, and the Sri Lanka Sakura Science Club Alumni Association for their great contribution to the success of the Sakura Science Plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. Of course, I can remember your encouraging speech delivered at the first alumni meeting held in Colombo, Hotel Renuka. So thanks for your encouraging words. Of course, with this pandemic difficult situation, we are aware that Sri Lanka, Japan Embassy in Sri Lanka doing a wonderful support in rebounding or containing the pandemic. We hope Sakura Science Alumni Association and our young researchers in the Alumni Club will be the conduit for enhancing friendships in two countries while fostering science and technology innovation sector. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. Now I would like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Sanjiv Gunasekara, Ambassador, Embassy of Sri Lanka in Japan. Over to you, sir.
Konnichiwa. Good morning to Sri Lankan friends. His Excellency, Ambassador of Japan to Sri Lanka, Mr. Akira SUGIYAMA, distinguished scholars, panelists, and Sakura Science alumni. It is a privilege for me to speak on behalf of Sri Lanka and how a program like the Sakura Science Exchange Program benefits our young minds of the future. Sakura Science Program's Asia focus gives our high school, university, and young professionals an opportunity to witness Japan's technology innovation and success firsthand. This program not only focuses on learning theory in classrooms, but offers a practical opportunity to touch and feel world-famous manufacturing and assembly facilities, as well as cutting-edge research centers, which will undoubtedly inspire these minds for future success. The testaments I have heard from some of the participants who are here with us today, the Sakura program is not only a learning experience in science and technology, but it is a learning experience of meeting peers from various countries at a young age, sharing thoughts and ideas, and believing that with unity and collaboration across boundaries, one can produce and innovate. It does not have to be within boundaries of one country. Also, I commend Sakura Science Program's belief in the liberal arts concept as one of its core values, as I myself is a product of liberal arts education. I believe the liberal arts foundation of knowledge especially helps in the fields of science and technology, where one always strives to come up with the next solution to problems. And one of these solutions can be the next breakthrough innovation. Innovation and technology not only empowers people and nations, but also helps to even disparities of income distribution. I take this opportunity to remind our Sri Lankan Sakura Science Program alumni and the association that they have an obligation to share their positive experiences, especially with the rural youth, and to promote this program in a coordinated and structured fashion around the country on an ongoing basis. I also take this opportunity to thank the Japanese Science Technology Agency and the Japanese government for providing opportunities and reaching out to countries such as Sri Lanka by providing our youth the exposure that we leave an indelible mark in their lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring speech. Hope, as you highlighted, our young researchers, young minds will spark with the S&T innovation. You pointed out, correctly pointed out Of course, National Science Foundation also has reached to the grassroots level, rural level schools. So as you highlighted, through the alumni club members, our Sri Lankan young researchers, of course, there are active members in the association who are already supporting underprivileged schools in promoting science, educating science, latest technology like electronics, robotics, and related emerging fields even. Due to the pandemic situation, the process was a bit retarded, but we hope future with these strengths, our alumni members together with the National Science Foundation will play a big role as you highlighted. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. So next, I move on to the next item of the program. This is addressed by Professor Montecassin, President and Chair of the Board, Akita International University, Capacity Building Opportunities in Japan for Young Researchers in Sri Lanka. He will speak on. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shantasri. Dr. Thamara Dias, Dr. Teruo KISHI, His Excellency Ambassador SUGIYAMA, His Excellency Ambassador Sanjiv Gunasekara. I must thank you all for this courtesy extended to me today to be invited to this second Alumni Association meeting of the Sakura Science Program. Several years ago, I was fortunate to be involved when this program was being designed, and I'm really glad to see that it has gone from strength to strength and also become part of what one might see as a bedrock for Sri Lanka to engage with Japan with researchers and scientists from a very early age. And I understand from this last conversation with Ambassador Gunasekara that it is also now extending to rural schools where the less privileged and the less fortunate have also got an opportunity to dream. Just for your information, I'm trying to share my screen. Just give me a few minutes. I'm trying to see how I can get this. Just give me 2 seconds. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the glitch. The topic that I was given was to talk about capacity building opportunities in Japan for young researchers from Sri Lanka. Now, I think the first thing that I would like to say is that I'm grateful to the government of Japan for having brought me nearly 50 years ago as a young researcher. It shaped my life, defined my engagement with my country, Sri Lanka, and I think has shown us what a good friend Japan is to Sri Lanka. So today I would like to tell the young people who might be interested in joining the Sakura Science Program in the future, and to the alumni of the Sakura Science Program Club, to be able to tell other youngsters in Sri Lanka what a great opportunity lies in Japan. The original intention was to have a short taste of the advanced science and technology capacities that are available in Japan, and to inspire students to come back to Japan later for a longer period of time. Initially, it was purely a natural science and technology-oriented focus, but I understand that this year, the JST program is now extended to cover the liberal arts and the humanities as well. Beyond the Sakura Science Program, possibly lead young Sri Lankans to, if they continue to engage with Japan. Firstly, there are 770 universities in this country. national, public and private universities and several tens of national research institutes of absolute global excellence like RIKEN, JAMSTEC, JAXA, the National Institute of Informatics and Communication Technologies. There is a myriad of opportunities which are not, I think, quite well known or understood in terms of potential. Now, let me tell you some of the characteristics of higher educational institutions and research institutions in Japan. The first and most important thing is that they are directed generally towards nurturing a community of scholars, and this goes from undergraduate programs right through to postdoctoral research fellows through this modality that is called the research seminar. Now, this nurtures lifelong friendships and also brings about inspirational collaboration. Japan has another very specific characteristic in that it refuses to see higher education in many countries, some of whom we are very familiar with, also tend to look at in this way. Japan sees higher education and research as a place for nurturing the next generation of leaders. I think this is a fantastic ethos to have, which drives these programs that JST has planned for engagement. These Japanese institutions, irrespective of whether they are in the metropolitan centers or outside, have excellent facilities and equipment for research. Even though the building outside might look shabby, they have first-class equipment inside. And I have seen this even in many non-metropolitan universities in Japan. So I think the opportunities are tremendous, and I think we should take advantage of this as much as possible. My message to prospective scholars in Sri Lanka is, given that Japanese is a difficult language, when you're here, if you don't know something, ask. The Japanese people are reluctant to help you if you don't ask them because they think that it might be intruding on your privacy or your personal space. But if you ask them, they are among the most helpful people in the world. But having said that, I would also encourage you to learn the language. Not to learn the language because you're studying in Japan, but because it is the key to millennia of accumulated knowledge in this country. And if you want to engage with the peoples of this country in all walks of life from all parts of the nation, then the language is a bridge. So if you have a chance, and I know that in Sri Lanka there is an excellent program run by the Sasakawa Foundation and other schools as well, please take advantage of this in some way, because you will find your journey to Japan made much more rewarding. Commit yourself to excellence in whatever engagements that you carry out in your host institutions, but also keep an eye on the big picture of what is happening outside, both in Japan and overseas. Please contextualize your work against Japan's commitment to initiatives like Industry 4.0, which is basically the AI, IoT, DX revolution. Japan's policy articulation of Society 5.0, which is how society should respond to Industry 4.0 and make sure that no one is left behind. It's a wonderful initiative which goes beyond Japan to countries that it engages in. And recently, Japanese government, industry, and academia have fostered for realizing the Sustainable Development Goals articulated by the United Nations. There are 4 areas which Japan has focused, which I think would be very relevant to us. One is countering infectious diseases, particularly in this time where we are battling COVID-19 globally, to encourage regenerative rather than exploitative business so that we can build society back better. So very important in this difficult time. Regional revitalization, not only of the central areas of a country, but also the rural regions, harmonizing the environment and our economies. And lastly, empowering people and strengthening bonds among them. They are all the current thrusts of the Science and Technology Innovation for SDGs program. Now, the Sakura Science program is the seed from which all of these good things can be nurtured. Finally, a relationship with what Sri Lanka needs. In a recent forum by NSF, they articulated a policy goal to go from a per capita income of $4,000 per capita GDP to $10,000 by the end of this decade. This is impossible without introducing science and technology. And NSF did point out that we have a large expatriate community, and we must mobilize this community. Now, I must say that while science and technology itself needs some caveats as well, science is neutral, but technology can have bias when it could take, and in this bias, it could take us towards goodness or towards trouble. So it must be deployed with a higher sense of purpose, aiming at the greater good, and Japan is very receptive to this. The recent inclusion of humanities and social sciences in the Sakura Science program is indicative of this, but it is important that things like ethical conduct and honorable behavior are the best of whether we science and technology work for the good of humanity and the Earth's environment. Expatriate science community, and one that is growing in Japan as well. So in partnership with Japan, I feel to mobilize this expatriate community, if Japan could help Sri Lanka build or establish a place where this expatriate community and their friends in the host countries where they work in can engage with Sri Lankan counterparts and bring new value to Sri Lankan science and benefit our society as it goes to this goal of $10,000 per capita. Japan has done this with excellent results in Thailand when it established decades ago, in fact, in Egypt, in Malaysia, in India, and Vietnam. And given the strength of our relationship that Her Excellency Honorable Yuko OBUCHI mentioned in her speech, considering this deep and profound relationship that Sri Lanka has, it is perhaps time for us to mobilize our forces and work with Ambassador Sugiyama and his colleagues in Japanese government to see if a similar place can be created in Sri Lanka, where Japan and Sri Lanka together can build the relationships of soft power science diplomacy, which will go not just bilaterally, but will extend to all corners of the Sri Lankan expatriate community. The young scholars who come through the Sakura Science program are but the seeds of such great initiatives. I think if we think now, think big, and plan this carefully, the relationship can only grow stronger. I wish the Sakura Science program and its alumni a great future in this coming decades. Sri Lanka needs you and needs Japan. Please act as this bridge. I will do my utmost to help you on this journey. 50 years in a country is fantastic, and I close with Sidney Brenner's words. Sidney Brenner is a Nobel laureate in medicine and physiology. He died a couple of years ago in May, and he was very, very against the science ethos of publish or perish. He said a scientist must not be recognized for his publications, for his awards, or for the honors that he has received, but by how many people he has helped. This, I think, is the ethos of Japan's science diplomacy and the Sakura Science program. I wish you all well, and I'm really happy to be part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Your inspiring speech. As I observe your key message to Sri Lankan young researchers, the commitment and excellence. If they have the commitment and focus, they have more opportunities in Japan. So I think they will harness those opportunities in future. Of course, National Science Foundation have already taken initiative to establish a digital platform to harness our expatriate scientists professionals in abroad. So we hope with your strength and support to expand it through our expatriate in Japan, and hope we can enhance partnerships and to contribute in a way S&T as per the government vision to double the per capita income in the next decade. Thank you very much, sir, for capturing those national level vision as well, and befitting proposals for the future. Thank you very much. Before we move on to the next item, we have 1 to 2 minutes to, if anyone in the audience has any burning question to ask from Professor Montikassim. Of course, sometimes our members, participants will come up with back of their mind after the event questions. So please send us or put your questions to the chat box. Anyone need to raise question? Now is the time. Anyone who wish to pose question, please put in the chat box. We will make a facilitation during the course of the day or after the event to answer your question. As per the next item, I cordially invite Dr. H.D. Karunaratne, Director of University of Tokyo, Sri Lanka Office, Senior Professor, University of Colombo, President of Japanese Graduates Alumni Association of Sri Lanka. Over to you, sir.
First of all, thank you very much for giving this opportunity to me to explain about our activities in the University of Tokyo, Sri Lanka office in Colombo. We know we all are in the COVID-19 era. 2 embassies of Sri Lanka and Japan, they are doing their maximum, and there are many programs undertaken by the embassies. With my little experience, actually, I should thank to the government of Japan. I'm a product of postgraduate research scholarship program, where I have been about 4 universities studying up to the PhD level, and I have been teaching in 2 universities as an invited professor in Hosei University for 3 years, and as an invited scholar and foundation fellow in the University of Tokyo. Meanwhile, my 3 years in University of Colombo, and we linked to the Japanese Graduate Alumni Association. There are many Japanese graduates in Sri Lanka as much as possible. In that manner, I had to accept this request to be the director of the University of Tokyo, Sri Lanka office. We established the office in 2000, Japanese language expert and the IT expert also in this office. Actually, why we established the University of Tokyo, Sri Lanka office here is to implement the Study in Japan Global Network Project, which is the project introduced by the Japanese government, the Mombu Kakakusho, the Ministry of Education in Japan. We know, as we all are aware, in today's world, we can link through the more and more through the internet connections. Our office website is in the top here. Anyone can see and join with our office website. And the down, you can see our Facebook page, what we are operating, and we are doing many activities. So we update to these two, our website in the University of Tokyo website, as well as the Facebook website of the University of Tokyo Sri Lanka office. Actually, what is our mandate? Practically, we know that in Japan, Sri Lankan students in Japan, you can see in this bar graph how the Sri Lankan students in Japan, mainly Sri Lankan students have gone to professional training colleges rather than universities. Our plan is to double the number of Sri Lankan university students in Japan and Japanese universities maybe within 4 years. As we know that, of course, I have taken this from our great scholar, Professor Ananda Kumara's presentation. There is a big demand for IT and engineering skilled workers in Japan. So I hope that the professionals who are in this Sakura science program or other area, there are many opportunities in Japan we can capture. And in our organization, we conduct stakeholder meetings. We, of course, conduct awareness sessions. Actually, now at the moment, we are conducting 3 to 4 sessions per week. Earlier, we were having that for the month, but now we are conducting sessions, going to schools, high schools, and of course, with the principals and even divisional secretaries, we are conducting awareness programs on the Japanese universities in the Sri Lankan context. We have conducted awareness sessions. More than 5,800 students have participated up to now. These school programs, all reputed schools, we have conducted our awareness programs, including Royal Vishaka and even rural schools. Now, 3 times per year, we are conducting Zoom-based programs. So we are trying to give them practical knowledge on how to apply for Japanese universities and what are the qualifications they have to get to go for Japanese.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir. It seems like your material is not shown on the screen. There, I think you were going to share material.
Extremely sorry.
And then
how about now? How about now?
Oh yes, now we can see it.
Are
Yes,
you
yes,
okay?
yes.
Extremely sorry.
Thank you, thank you.
Extremely sorry for that. Thank you very much for reminding me. If I just display from the very beginning that our office is in Bambalapitiya, and of course we are implementing this Study in Japan Global Network project, and of course these are our websites. There is the main website is in the University of Tokyo website, and our Facebook page. We are disseminating our activities and awareness sessions through these websites. And as we know that with respect to Sri double that one. And as we know that there is a big demand for Sri Lankan and world, other part of the world specialists in Japan, the science and engineering part, there are a lot of vacancies in Japan. So, and there are more universities also in Japan. And as our mandate that we are trying to implement more awareness sessions. So far, we have conducted about, you can see, 78 awareness sessions. And apart from that, we are conducting stakeholder association meetings. We would like to invite the Sakura Science program also in future, going with us and promote these programs in our Sri Lankan schools. And these are the information on the programs what we have conducted up to the last month here in the May. Up to May, we have conducted 46 programs in universities and schools. Of course, all national schools, we are conducting our awareness programs. And universities, you can see in 4 universities participated around 40 to 50 academics. They have graduated from Japan, and we are conducting sessions with the help of these university graduates Japanese graduates in Sri Lankan universities also. As Professor Monty Kasim correctly pointed out, there are many science-based universities in Japan. There are about 795 universities, and you can see 53 technical colleges, as well as junior colleges, 323. There are many colleges in Japan where those information is not given to Sri Lankan students, Sri Lankan school students. When we conduct our sessions, we realize that the Sri Lankan students, they have desire to go to Japan, but they do not know how to apply for these programs, and which language they have to do it, and what are the basic qualifications they want to take it. So these are the things what we are passing to students at this moment. As you all are aware, that the University of Tokyo is conducting a peak program, which even the social science graduates, particularly even management and arts graduates, can also apply for this program. This peak program, particularly they divide into two, Japan in East Asia and the environment sciences. So even non-science graduates also can apply for these scholarship programs, undergraduate programs conducting by the University of Tokyo. And graduate schools also in the University of Tokyo conducting many programs where the Sri Lankan awareness about these programs are lacking. And with the JASO website, we can download many information. Now in my office, particularly the University of Tokyo office in Sri Lanka, we are passing this information to the school students in Sri Lanka and university students in Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, we had to face this COVID-19 crisis. We started at the very beginning physically doing these sessions, but we converted into digital awareness programs. Now we conduct these programs at least 3 times per week. So these are the basic things just I have to share with you. I hope that you will be further linked with the University of Tokyo, Sri Lanka office. With my experience in 13 years in Japan, I'm trying to pass whatever the information from Japan to our younger generation. And in fact, the Japanese Graduate Alumni Association also, younger members are cooperating with us. Now we are trying to get, I think, most of the awareness sessions. We have interacted about now 5,800 Sri Lankan advanced level students. Our experience is that they do not know about the information on Japanese universities in Sri Lanka. So therefore, good students, they are not applying because just the understanding is that they have to do only in Japanese language, or they have to learn Japanese before go to Japan, or something like those misinformation passing traditionally. So we are trying to correct this. I think this is a very good day. Japan Sakura Science Program, Alumni Association, you also can support us, join with us, and aware the realities in Sri Lankan situation. So I hope we will be able to increase number of good students going to Japan in near future. Thank you very much for inviting me for this Alumni Association. I wish this Alumni Association success. And I think, again, I have to thank all the organizers and who participated for my presentation also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your exploratory presentation, which depicts many opportunities for Sri Lankan young researchers, even school children. And I hope with the more collaboration with the Sri Lanka office, and our young researchers will be able to grasp these many opportunities. So with that observation, we have a couple of minutes, 1 to 3 minutes, to raise questions from the audience. So I open the floor to the audience to raise any question from Dr. Karunara.
Yeah, there is a question in the chat room. Please let us what are the measures taken by the members of Jagas to promote the study in Japan. Of course, as I mentioned, we have 17 universities in Japan. Now, university graduates, the Japanese university PhD holders, master's holders are around 40 to 15 each universities. Now we have established each university branch of the Japanese Graduate Alumni Association. We started from the Sabaragamuwa University, and they had a meeting and they communicated with the students. And then, of course, we met around 40 people in University of Sri Jawadanapura, as well as the Wayamba University of Sri Lanka and Moratua University. We conducted a link program. Now each university has a alumni member association. So in future, we are trying to decentralize this association, because each university has many things to do and they are actually conducting many work. We can relate it to the Japanese association.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. So in absence of any other questions, we move on to the next item. The Japan Science and Technology Agency executes many programs in fostering research and collaboration and scientific cooperation. Apart from the Sakura Science Program, the JST implements special research program, multilateral research program called eAsia Special Program. So that is eAsia Joint Research Program. So we, one resource person is on board to speak on that. Now I cordially invite Dr. Kawabata Ken, the eAsia Special Program Coordinator, JRP Secretariat, JST. Over to you, Dr. Kawabata.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Ken Kawabata, eAsia Secretariat and JST from Bangkok, Thailand. I will briefly talk about JST and the eAsia Joint Research Program for my presentation today. JST is an innovative, mission-oriented national funding agency in Japan. We are funding and connecting a wide range of stakeholders to generate new values for society and contribute to the interest of people as well as global well-being through various STI research activities. We support a wide range of research, both for scientific innovation and sustainable development. There are several funding agencies in Japan based on their roles and missions. JST is funding research projects according to the national priorities. There are two other major mission-oriented agencies, AMED, which support medical research, and NEDO, which supports the commercial-oriented research. And as you know, there's another agency called the Japan Society for the Promotion of Science, or JSPS, supporting the curiosity-driven research. As for JST's international cooperate programs, we have two major programs called SciCop and SATREPS. SciCop is aiming at creating innovation by collaborating with funding agencies in counterpart countries and regions in an equal partnership framework. And SATREPS is structured as a collaboration with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, which provides the official development assistance, ODA, and aiming at addressing the global issues and realizing the sustainable development. My friend Mr. Aoki will explain about SATREPS later. And under SICOP, there's a multilateral collaborative program called E-Asia Joint Research Program, or JRP. And I will talk a bit more about E-Asia JRP today. This program is a multilateral international joint initiative for public funding organizations in East Asia Summit member countries, which include 10 ASEAN member states, plus Australia, Japan, New Zealand, China, India, South Korea, Russia, and the US. It was inaugurated in June of 2012, so the program has been implemented for 9 years by now. There are two main activities in this program. The first one is to promote the multilateral international collaborative research projects. And the term multilateral means that each project is consisted of not one or two, but at least 3 or even more countries. And I will explain a little more about this later. And the second activity is to provide opportunities for the network building among researchers by holding international events such as workshops, etc. And we have implemented more than 70 collaborative research projects and more than 20 international events in the last 9 years. Currently, we have 23 public funding organizations as what we call member organizations, or MOs, from 14 countries participating in the program. And the NSF of Sri Lanka is participating in the program as the guest partner from October 2017. Since the program is linked with the political framework of the East Asia Summit, this program is intended for 10 ASEAN member states plus 8 countries. But we all realize that it is essential to cooperate with neighboring countries to address the regional common issues. And Sri Lanka became the first country to participate as the guest partner in response to our invitation. And we are truly looking forward to Sri Lankans' continued contributions in this program. Now, these are the research fields that we are focusing on. Based on the discussions among MOs, we set specific core topics under these fields for every call for proposals, which are reflecting the rapid changes of societies, economic situations, and demands for science, technology, and innovation in our region. And this is the framework modality of our international cooperation. Again, each project needs to consist of 3 or more countries, and it is the co-funding type of collaborations, which means that each principal investigator or PI needs to get its own country's fund or support, so the fund or support doesn't cross the border. The duration of project is up to 3 years, and the funding amount from each PI varies from self-funding to the certain amount which is determined by each MO. Now, please note that there are some differences in conditions between MOs and the guest partner. The guest partner needs to be a 4th country to participate in the project. So Sri Lankan researchers need to collaborate with more than 3 countries. Please also note that although the same can be said for all countries, Sri Lankan researchers can apply for the call only when NSF Sri Lanka is participating in the joint call. Now, I'm using the term fund or support in this video, and the reason for that is there are 3 types of fund or support to participate in the program. The first one is new, meaning that the PI gets the new fund specifically for the program from its countries and all. And the second one is rebudgeting, meaning that our PI has already been receiving different funds from its countries and more, but such fund is reallocated to the program. And the third one is in kind, which means that PI does not get any fund from its MO, but has other resources to participate in the program, such as the fund from private company, its own institutional budget, and so on. This is an ongoing project that Sri Lanka is participating. NSF Sri Lanka participated in 8th call for proposals in the field of agriculture. And a joint project of Professor Minashini of the University of Furna was selected. This is an evaluation criteria. You are most welcome to submit your proposal as a PI, or you could contact the senior researchers to get yourselves into their research teams and participate in the program as one of the research members as well. We put high priority on nurturing early career researchers through the program. So the program is welcoming the participation of young researchers like you folks. As for the international events, the aims are described here, such as enhancing the interaction, discussion, brainstorm, and networking among researchers. And as for the details of the program, please visit our website, and you are always welcome to contact us by email as well. And that'll be all for my presentation. Thank you so much, everyone, and looking forward to your participation in the eAsia JLP in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kawabata. So I think any researchers in the audience who wish to embark on multilateral research on priority basis, addressing the national needs of having mutual interest, they could contact the eAsia Program Secretariat for further detail. So we have 1 to 2 minutes for questions. Nevertheless, we are a bit running behind the time. So at this juncture, I would like to introduce Ms. Kaniko Emi, Director, JST Singapore Office. She will also join with the Q&A session. So I open the floor to the audience to make any quick clarification if needed. So in absence of questions, we move on to the next item. The speech by Mr. Aoki Kazuhiko, India Liaison Office. He is the Liaison Officer, India Liaison Office, JST. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Santa-san. Hello, everyone. My name is Aoki, JST India Liaison Officer. I'm very happy to join this meeting. Now I would like to explain about JST SATREPS program. Just a moment, I will share my slide. Now it's okay?
Yes, we can see.
Sorry.
We can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I will start my presentation in 10 minutes about JST SATREPS programs. My name is Aoki, India Liaison Officer, and I'm working with Sri Lanka also. So let's go on to my presentation. What is SATREPS? SATREPS full name of the program is Science and Technology Research Partnership for Sustainable Development. So we JST call in short this program as SATREPS. Please, so every participant, please remember only this name, SATREPS. Here is a URL. You just in your computer after my presentation, you just type SATREPS, you can easily find this program English website. And so for aims of SATREPS, there are 3 points. First one is enhancing cooperation in science technology. Of course, in case of this, Sri Lanka and Japanese science technology cooperation. And the second aim of SATREPS is, of course, we support joint research between Japan and Sri Lanka. So it means we support new joint research for new technology, new knowledge and innovations. And the third aims of SATREPS, of course, this is it's very common in joint research. Always, the aim is capacity development through the joint research between Sri Lanka and Japan, boosting self-reliant R&D capacity and sustainable research systems, training human resources, and coordinating network between researchers. So these three points are main aims of SATREPS. So through this joint research, research outcome, we expect that research outcome aim to practical utilization, social implementation. So we expect the outcome of the research to make a real contribution to society, not only the stay as a research outcome, but contribute to real society. So satellite framework, I will explain this slide. Japan, JST support Japanese researchers, and the budget is 300 million Japanese yen, so it is about more than 15 million Sri Lanka rupee every year. And JICA, I think everyone knows JICA, Japan International Cooperation Agency. JICA support Sri Lanka researchers side. And the amount of support is 60 million Japanese yen, so it is estimated 100 million Sri Lanka rupee annually. And joint research term is normally from 3 to 5 years, depending on the proposal from the researchers. Most of the project term is 5 years. So, and SATREPS research area is first area is environment energy, global scale environment issues, and also low carbon society and energy areas. And second research area is bioresources utilizations. And the third area is disaster prevention and mitigation. And the fourth area is infectious disease control. SATREP started since 2008, and so more than 13 years history. And in total, since now, 168 projects in 53 countries. Of course, with Sri Lanka, 2 projects is ongoing and finished. So, actually saying only 2 projects with Sri Lanka, and this project is now only ongoing project, start in 2019 and until 2025. The project title is Development of Early Warning Technology of Rain in this rapid and long traveling landslides. So, and Japanese side, international consortium landslides like from Kyoto University, Tokyo Institute of Technology, such as. And Sri Lanka side, National Building Research Organization, the Ministry of Defense. And going to the next slide. This slide is show one finished research project of SATREPS in 2016. The project title was a development of pollution control and environment restoration technology of waste landfill sites, taking into account geographical characteristics in Sri Lanka. Yeah, so actually saying only one project is ongoing with Sri Lanka, and only one project finished with Sri Lanka. So, in this occasion, I would like to remind how to apply SATREPS Sri Lanka researchers. So first of all, please look this show or slide. Of course, Sri Lanka researchers must make a joint research plan with Japanese researchers in the area of environment, bioresources, and infection disease and disaster prevention. So after that, JST side, Japanese researchers submit proposal to JST, and Sri Lanka researchers submit proposal to your university first, and the university submits your proposal to the Sri Lanka government, like Ministry of Science Technology, and after that, Ministry of ODA management with Japanese government. So after that, Sri Lanka government submit your proposal to Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Japan. It means the Embassy of Japan in Sri Lanka. It is a little complicated. So this is the original slide. How to apply? So first point is finalize a joint research plan with Japanese researchers. So for this object, please use the Sakura Science program. I think Sakura Science program is very useful to start and progress the relation with Japanese researchers. So please try to make a joint research plan in the area of environment, bioresources, and infection disease and disaster prevention. So after that, Japanese researcher side submit proposal to JST every year, mostly September to October. And Sri Lanka researchers submit a proposal to your university, and the university submit your proposal to Sri Lanka government, and the government submit your proposal to Japanese embassy. Until every year, approximately is September, October. Both submit presentation to Japan and from Japan side and the Sri Lanka side are required. So after that, just after process of selection from November to April and adopt the project in May. So please remind this schedule and please apply SATREPS program by using the Sakura Science program. Yes, so that's all my presentation. Thank you so much. So in this occasion, I strongly hope that Sri Lanka researchers start to talk with Japanese researchers about to make a joint research plan in the area of environment, bioresources, and disaster prevention and infection disease areas. So any question after this meeting, please send to me my email of this slide, and also our office has a URL. But I think you can just type SATREPS in your computer, and you can easily find English much more information about SATREPS. That's all of my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aoki. I think it is clear if anyone raise any questions. And now is time. In the screen, it's shown someone from the audience had the raised hand, but now it disappeared. Nevertheless, anyone who wish to who has question, please raise hand or directly ask the question now. It is time for you, audience. While preparing, or I would like to highlight one question posted in the chat box. One question is there to the panel, is there any age limit in applying for the positions? So better Mr. Nishikawa or panel member could, I suppose there are age limits depending on the program as well as the target group. So if any panel member could elaborate on that, maybe answer to that question.
Okay, about SATREPS, I think there is no limit of age. Of course, in Japan, researchers work until 60 and 65. So if Japanese researcher side submit by the age over 60, JST will try want to confirm if JST adopt this project. Can you work as a research leader for 5 years? So yeah, so but basically there's no limit of age in case of SATREPS. So I think Sri Lanka side is also same. Only important is if the research project is adopted, research leader basically required to work as a research leader until the end of the project.
Right. Thank you. And any other questions from the audience so far? Right. So, in absence of the questions, of course, you can post to the chat box any question if you have. So we start back the program, and we come to the last part of the program, presentations from the alumni members from Sri Lanka side. So the first item is Miss Amali Hera. She will speak on how Sakura Science Program helped develop her career. Over to you, Miss Amali.
I hope you can hear me now. Am I audible?
Yes,
okay.
We can hear you.
Okay. So, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, panelists, and other participants. Today, I'll be presenting about how Sakura Science Program shaped my career. So, a bit of background about myself. I'm Amali Hera, and I participated in Sakura Science Program in 2018 as a second-year undergraduate in mechanical engineering. I studied in University of Moderator, Sri Lanka. I graduated in 2020 and currently I work as a temporary lecturer at the same university. And I hope to continue higher studies in the field of mechanical engineering and contribute to medical device development field. So the program that I participated in, Sakura Science program, was termed as Advanced Technology Exchange on Sensing Technology Devices and Applications, which was hosted by University of Miyazaki in Japan. It was a 10-day program. And so I'll first go through what we did in the program to describe what I got for my career through the program. On the first 8 days, I suppose, we had different demonstrations on different researchers from Sanwa Company and also Miyazaki Industrial Research and Technology Center. We also visited many research laboratories at University of Miyazaki and also Miyazaki Hospital. There was also a research findings exchange known as UOM Squad, where postgraduate students from both universities exchange their research findings at a session. And on the last 2 days, we went to Beppo, Japan to participate in international conference on artificial life and robotics, which was a great experience for me as an undergraduate. It was my first ever research conference experience. And so for my career, I'll be focusing in this presentation. I'll be focusing on 4 main points in the limited time. I learned a lot, but I'm going to be talking about what I got from Sakura Science program. I saw that from the researchers in Japan that engineering can be used to aid to give solutions for crucial societal problems because there were many researchers on aging care, patient caring, and rehabilitation. And I also saw the collaboration between the academia or the universities, professors, with the in Japanese industries, which they work together to produce viable products for the market. And I also experienced and understood the value of sharing research with the scientific community. And I also, throughout the whole experience, I saw the importance of staying true to your cultural values as a Japanese culture. They always stay true to their cultural values amidst the technological development. So, going deeper into the topics, so I saw how engineering can be used to give solutions for problems, such as in the context of Japan, they had a problem of regulation. So, in the some of products such as walking style measurement machines and to detect locomotive risk levels in different individuals. And also, there was a bed leaving sensor to detect if a patient get down from a bed. It is important in elderly care. So these kind of researchers gave me, as an undergraduate, it actually, I did not have a clear idea about what I wanted to do. So it gave me, showed me the path that what I was learning at university can be used to serve people and help people who are in need. There was also many researchers which focused on helping people with disabilities and how to improve rehabilitation procedures. You can see in the UOM Square session, there was a demonstration of how wheelchair control wheelchair controlled by brain signals and brain scan. So all of these researchers are focused on helping people. So it gave me a purpose onto how I can use what I was learning at university to research. So, and also another thing that I took from Sakura Science program is how closely the academics and universities work with industry. So throughout the whole visits, we saw that the industrial problems brought by different companies were addressed by universities. It is not very widely seen in Sri Lanka, maybe because the industries are not as developed. So it was a great opportunity to see how Japan had developed to a developed country by collaborating with each other. And it gave me an idea about if I were to become a researcher, I should contribute to the society, not only in the university, but in a much larger extent. So, so these are the laboratories that we visited. We visited many laboratories actually. These are just few photographs. And one of the main robots I saw was robot Hull, which actually left a mark in me because it stating at the it actually wanted me to even after my degree, it still leaves a mark in me how the technology is used to help people. Yeah, and then after that, I also understood the value of sharing research with the scientific community. As an undergraduate, I consider it as a great opportunity to be part of the research conference. So, as great researchers, see, even though I did not have much technical knowledge at that point, I was still a second year undergraduate. I still saw how people communicated their research findings and they got feedback from others, how they identified some shortcomings in their researchers, likewise. So I understood the importance of sharing your research with a greater community. And yeah, and I also got the chance to talk with many esteemed professors at the welcome party, which was actually we saw that they were very passionate about their research and their careers, and motivated us to do well as undergraduates, so we can actually follow any path that you wanted to. So those really left a mark in me. And also amidst all of this, I saw a lot of technologies, universities, train stations, that standard. But amidst everything, Japanese people really stayed true to their culture. They were very humble, very kind to us, or very welcoming. So I understood that we should not abandon our values, even though we were developing, even when developing technologically, we shouldn't ignore our values. We should still be humble and stay true to our values. So yeah, that's apart from me. I think that's all from me. It was a great experience. I'm very thankful to everyone, all the senseis who helped us in Japan. It really left a mark in me. So I hope to take my experiences to the community in Sri Lanka as well as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Amali, for making a nice presentation, highlighting exactly the R&D collaboration, partnership with industry, and whatever the research output benefit to be filtered down to the society that is need of the hour. So thank you very much for sharing your experience with the Sakura Science Program. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Charit Premachandra. He is also a Sakura Science member of the Sakura Science Club in Sri Lanka. So he will speak on how Sakura Science Program could be strengthened for opening more avenues for young researchers. Over to you, Mr. Premachandra.
Okay, I think you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Konnichiwa. I am Charit, who participated in the Sakura Science Program in 2018. And now I am working in the University of Moderator in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. And now I am going to present how I think SSP can support younger researchers in Sri Lanka. This is going to be my presentation outline. First, I am going to show how I enjoyed the visit and how things I saw in the University of Miyazaki and the Miyazaki Prefectural Industrial Technology Center. And then I will be coming back to my topic. I will be briefly explaining the education system in Sri Lanka, and then I will give some suggestions to strengthen SSP. As the previous speaker mentioned, we enjoyed the rich culture in Japan, and we participated in the traditional Japanese tea ceremony and the Ikebana session as well. And if talking about the Japanese foods, and we really enjoyed the chicken nanban, which was originated from University of hello, is my connection stable?
We observe some. Okay. Yeah, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we really enjoyed the Japanese foods, especially chicken nanban, which originated from Miyazaki Prefecture, and also the comfortable weather conditions. Okay, when coming to the University of Miyazaki, we had a lot of experience, and we were able to observe what is really going on outside Sri Lanka. As an undergraduate by then, it was a really good opportunity and a good chance for me to observe the latest technologies and what is really happening in Japanese universities. We went to Mechanical Design Laboratory and the 3D Measurement and Technology Laboratory, and also to the University of Miyazaki Hospital. And there we saw the robot HAL, which was a rehabilitation robot, and also the Vigan camera system used in the motion analysis lab. Here, This was my first research conference in the ICA of 2018. Actually, this really motivated me to do more research, and as an undergraduate, it was a really good opportunity for me to see how the research conferences are been happening. And in addition, four of our graduate students who represented the team, they presented 4 publications in that conference. And this is the some things that I saw in the Miyazaki Prefectural Industrial Technology Center. Here we observed how Japan is using their natural resources in order to make suitable productions for their needs, and some rapid prototyping methods and some laboratories like the anechoic chamber and also the Sanwa company. Here, what I wanted to highlight was that the things that the undergraduate can see and the experience undergraduate can get using the SSP program. Okay, now coming back to my presentation. The education in Sri Lanka. We get free education in Sri Lanka. Actually, we were able to get that since 1938, and almost all the educated people in Sri Lanka have been able to get the best benefit of this free education. We enter university. We enter the primary education when we are in grade, when we are around age 5 or 6, and then we get the primary education. After that, we will be able to go to the secondary education after the scholarship examination. According to Sri Lankan law, we have to get education until grade 9. It is a compulsory. And here in grade 11, we will be able to start our collegiate education after the ordinary level examination. Then after that, we will be able to go to our university after the advanced level examination. These are some figures to show how competitive our education system is. You can see in 2019, only 70% of the students were able to get collegiate education. And then in 2019, only 65% of students were qualified to enter university. However, new faculties and fields are being introduced to meet the increase in demand. The government universities are enhancing their resources to facilitate the increasing student intake. And you can see, since my field is engineering, and I would like to highlight some of those about that. And we have 6 engineering faculties all over the country when it comes to government universities, and almost 2,000 students have been taken into those faculties in the 2019 intake. And we have very high employability as well as a good reputation in the country as well as across the globe. I'm happy to say that more than 95% of students have been able to get their first job at the time of the first convocation in the university of my University of Moderator. And these are some outstanding achievements that our students have been able to get in the worldwide. Here you can see the Formula World competition, student world competition, that our students have been able to represent Sri Lanka twice after being able to make a Formula car. And here these are some aircraft, unmanned aircraft challenges in the IMEC UAS challenge. And these are some interesting projects that our students have done. What I wanted to highlight is that our students in Sri Lanka have a very good potential, and they can perform really well in every situation. And we have been able to thrive internationally with limited resources. However, we know that Japan is a pioneer in research and technology. And together, I think we can go a very long way. So what my suggestions are to increase the opportunity for undergraduates as well as young researchers to visit prestigious universities in Japan. So I think SSP can support more to get the same experience that I got as an undergraduate. The other thing, I think it's better if SSP can make or introduce some kind of a support scheme for the for students who are seeking for graduate studies in Japan. And it is since I was also looking for some supervisors to pursue my graduate studies, I think how hard it is to find out a prospective supervisor. So I think it is it's better if SSP can make some kind of a support scheme to facilitate our students who are seeking for postgraduate studies, and so that they can find out a prospective supervisor from Japan. Now, if we take the engineering education in Sri Lanka, we get a 6-month training in the industry, and in that training period, we will be able to go to some kind of industry, or we can go abroad and get a good experience. Here, what I suggest is that it is better if SSP can make some kind of internship plan, or at least for 3 months, to get a good internship in Japan. So it will be beneficial for all for students to get the foreign internship, as well as to strengthen the relationship between Japan and Sri Lanka. My final suggestion is to it's better if we can establish more research collaborations between Japan and Sri Lanka. So SSP can re-invite outstanding alumni members or anyone who have very good potential in research, so that they can establish more productive research collaborations between two countries. These are my suggestions. So I think with these suggestions we can go a very long way, and we can strengthen our relationship between Japan and Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Premachandra, for your exciting presentation, highlighting your suggestions for improvement. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Nanda Gunawardana. Dr. Nanda Gunawardana is the Director of Research and International Relations of the Sri Lanka Technological Campus. In fact, Dr. Nanda Gunawardana has many collaborations with Japanese universities. So he will speak on Sakura Science Program window for establishing effective collaborations. Over to you, Dr. Nanda.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me for this presentation. And I think you can just see my screen, right?
Yes.
So at the outset, I would like to thank members of the organizing committee for inviting me to do this presentation. As Mr. Shantri mentioned, a window for establishing effective collaborations between Sri Lankan and Japanese universities. I'm the director of SLSSCAA, International Affairs and Research Division, and also a member of technology arm in its National Science Foundation. So I put 2 hats, I should say. And also previously I worked as the member of International Liaison Division of the National Science Foundation. So this is the general outline that I'm going to follow during my presentation. First, I would like to discuss about Sakura Science Program, what is in for Sri Lankan students, staff and scientists. And also I would like to discuss a little bit about Sri Lanka Japan Study Center. And the third point also linked to the second point, activities conducted by Sri Lanka Japan Study Center under Sakura Science Program, in fact promoting Sakura Science Program in Sri Lanka. And the last one actually is really interesting for, I think, audience, and I was asked to elaborate on that way forward, transforming Sakura Science Program as one of the best active programs in South Asia. So I think, as you may know, you got a lot of inputs from our previous speakers about Sakura Science Program, and actually it will generally support to different kind of staff, students, even for schools, kids, to get kind of exposure to their counterparts in Japan to learn science technology, and recently they have added humanities and social science to this program. So I think we have very broader spectrum to work with Japanese scientists and scholars, and also they want to promote globalization of Japanese educational and research institutions. I think that is a phenomenal idea, and also development of science and technology in Japan and worldwide. I think you can get more information about this from the Sakura Science website. So I extracted from some stuff from some stuff from Japanese websites. First, who can apply? Actually, as we knew that there are staff members or students, those who are less than 40 years can apply for this program. And there are different ways of applies, and there are different features. So there are open application program and AST direct invitation program. So there are ways of applying to these particular features, and the invitation period also depend on the type of program. Then features of the Sakura Science program. Actually, now we have open application program. Under that, let me sometimes there is some features. There are open application program. We have 3 different types: science and technology experience course, and also collaborative research activity course, and also science and technology training course. Actually, anybody can participate in these 3 programs. I think the members of Sakura Science club, I think, know much about that, but I am telling this one for the members who are joining with us from other backgrounds. And also the time period also depend on the different kind of program. And in fact, under AST direct invitation program, there is a very specific call for high school kids. I think as a Sri Lankan, we have to explore that, because our potential is our kids in high school. So I'm pretty sure that we can build very good ambassadors under this particular program. For the little bit of senior researchers, I should say, and scholars, we have Sakura Science Support Program. It is to learn cutting-edge technologies in Japan and probably work with them and transfer this knowledge to Sri Lanka. So when it comes to Sri Lanka Japan Study Center, I think Professor Thamara mentioned about Jagas and their activities. We started this in latter part of 2012, I should say 2013 early part. So to strengthen the academic and research collaborations and cooperations between Sri Lankan and Japanese universities. And also under this center, we support the student exchange program and of course the staff exchange program using different funding sources to build the human capital of research and technology in Sri Lanka. And also we started doing a lot of collaborative research using this platform and coordinate many programs. And also, as Professor Karunaratne mentioned, one of our main objectives to promote Japanese studies, Japanese universities, different kind of Japanese even cultural programs in Sri Lanka. So we are catering to many events, in fact, with the collaborations of Japanese Embassy in Sri Lanka, and host and organize many academic and research conferences. In fact, starting from 2017, annually we conduct Sri Lanka-Japan Collaborative Research Conference, and we were able to attract a lot of scientists, top-notch scientists from Japanese universities and institutions for this conference to build the partnerships among ourselves. So when it comes to Sakura Science program, as our students in Moderator University mentioned, actually University of Peradeniya also participated in many Sakura science program. I am taking this slide from Professor Shamin Jinda. He is the current director of the International Research Division, International Affairs Division in University of Peradeniya, and with the support of Dr. Jagas in the engineering faculty. So for an example, we have sent one group in 2020 to University, Tokyo, and also after that we had a follow-up programs with Saitama University. We have sent 3 groups. First one from 2017. It's a very short program to learn environment, civil engineering, and civil engineering related environmental stuff, waste management under this particular program. Actually, Professor Kawamoto helped us to develop this program from the Japanese side. After getting a lot of positive responses from our students, we extend that program to other areas and other groups. In 2019, they have sent another student group to Saitama University, and 2020, before COVID hit our country, we were able to send another student to Saitama University, and they finished the training and came back before we closed down the country. In fact, this is only from the engineering faculty. In addition to that, there are so many staff members, those who graduate from especially Japanese universities and completed their higher studies in Japan, have very good partnerships, especially in agriculture faculty and science faculty, and they are taking a lot of students under this program. So at this moment, I would like to thank JST and Sakura Science Program for initiating that. In fact, Dr. Shamin Jinda is also joining with us today because he started this program. So I was asked to discuss about way forward, transforming Sakura Science as one of the most active programs in South Asia. So we can select Sri Lanka as a kind of hub to do that, and because we have very good staff members, kind of condensed staff members. So when it comes to Sri Lanka, I think even in University of Peradeniya, so we have, if you take into staff members, a lot of staff members that did their higher studies in Japan, more than 70 staff members. That is the kind of strength. So they have a lot of connections. So we can expand that into the Sakura Science program. So first, I propose high school program. So from Japanese side, we have JST and Sakura Science. Then from Sri Lankan side, I think NSF can take a lead because they have very good arms, International Liaison Division. I think Mr. Santasiri is the head. Then we have Science Popularization Division, Dr. Dilrukshi is the head. So both are joining with us today. So they can take a lead from Sri Lankan side and work with JST to promote high school program. Now, the question is, as Professor Kasim and other eminent speakers mentioned, now we have COVID. So I think we are very capable of avoiding disaster situation, probably converting disaster situation into advantageous situations. I think Japan is the best example. After World War II, we rise up from the ash. So I think we can use that example. Even though we have COVID, we can think in a better way. Now we have online platform. We can send the student, they can get physical experience. That's very good. But even we can expand it to a lot of Sri Lankan school kids via online platform. So online classes about science and technology in Japan, how they learn new technologies by online platform. And also we can think about promoting online social interaction with our school kids. And also way forward, the second thing I want to propose is JST and Japanese universities can interact with National Science Foundation, Sri Lanka Japan Collaborative Study Center, and in fact with Jagas also to develop supporting programs, especially as I think I got from chat, the University of Ruhuna also, they have very good program with a lot of Japanese from universities, and I have seen that in the Sakura Science website. So we can get together and do this wonderful thing and do kind of online university program. We can work hand in hand to promote that. And also we can do online lectures, seminars with eminent Japanese scholars under Sakura Science program. I don't think we need any cost to do that. I think this is we have this technology, so we can just organize this and do the events. And the third one is I think very interesting and promoting Sakura Science program in Sri Lanka. So we, as we discussed now, we have so many partners even today, National Science Foundation, and also they have Science Popularization Division. Then we have students from and I should say alumni from Sakura Science Club in Sri Lanka, and we have Sri Lanka Japan Study Center, and also of course Jagas is there, so we can get together and promote the Sakura Science program in Sri Lanka. In fact, as a founding member of Sri Lanka Japan Study Center, I must say, with the permission of current director, I should say, we have Sri Lanka Japan Research Collaborative Research Conference in 2021. We are working very closely with Sri Lankan Embassy in Japan, and previously also we worked with Japanese Embassy in Sri Lanka. So both to organize this event, and of course we are working with the JICA, and we got fund from Japan Foundation for this particular year to get the foreign scholars, I should say Japanese scholars. And I like to invite JST to be a partner with this conference, and we don't expect any financial support at all. So just join as a partner. So we can invite members of the Sakura Science program, I should say alumni, to the conference and work with us to promote the Sakura Science program in Sri Lanka. As Professor Kasim correctly pointed out, we have a very deep and profound relationship between our nations. So our job as a senior scientist must be pass that profound and deep relationship to next generation. So I think we can do this effect with collaborative effect. And also I remember Mr. Aoki mentioned about the SUGIYAMA program. And I am happy to tell that University of Peradeniya coordinated one SUGIYAMA program with total amount up to $5 million about the waste project program. And probably we will write another SUGIYAMA programs because I think the government took initiative to transform our agriculture sector into new dimensions or new directions. So I think under that it will cover all health, environmental and other aspects listed in the SUGIYAMA program. So we can think, and NSF can take initiative to do that. I think that is a kind of bonus information that we have got under this particular program. So as a postdoctoral fellow of the Japanese and JSPS fellow, and I have very fond memories of Japan, and I am passing that memories to our young generation. I think we can do our utmost effort to promote these programs in Sri Lanka, and that is the future. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I am pretty sure we can do as a team. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nanda. And I think with your experience and valuable suggestions, we will get together and to uplift and promote the program collaborations, strengthen the Sakura Science program for benefit of the mutual benefits. I think as you highlighted, we may need to go for online platforms. I think JST as well as NSF take this suggestion, I think, as the way forward. Thank you very much for your time, sparing time and valuable suggestions, and accepting the invitation from Sri Lankan side. We move on to the closing remarks. For the first part, I would like to invite Mr. Kuroki Shichini, Principal Fellow, Sakura Science Program, JST. Over to you, Mr. Kuroki.
Well, thank you very much, Shantashri-san, moderator of today's webinar, and hello to all participants. I'm Kuroki Shinichi of Japan Science and Technology Agency. Congratulations on the wonderful and successful ending of today's webinar. I'd like to give my sincere thanks to all of you for your participation and mutually beneficial exchange of information. Today's webinar is the second Sri Lanka alumni meeting, but the first time to do it online. It is unfortunate that we cannot talk to each other face to face. On the other hand, as expressed in the theme of today's webinar, Sakura Science and Beyond, we are participating in an exchange meeting not limited within Sri Lanka. In fact, it goes beyond Sri Lanka to Japan and across the world, connecting all the Sakura Science Club members. Today, webinar has focused on opening more avenues for young researchers of Sri Lanka. Under this future-oriented theme, the webinar started with inspiring speeches of Dr. Thamara Diaz, Additional Director of NSF, and Dr. KISHI Teruo of JST. Today, we also had many excellent speeches and presentations of prominent and special guests. An encouraging speech from Ms. OBUCHI Yuko, member of the House of Representatives and the Chief Secretary of the Japan-Sri Lanka Parliamentary Friendship Association. And moving speeches from two ambassadors, Ambassador SUGIYAMA Akira and Ambassador Sanjiv Gunasekara. In addition, wonderful speeches from Professor Monte Kashim, President of Akita International University. We also had many practical and useful speeches from professors, students of universities, and so on, including future advancement or proposal of future Sakura Science program. I do hope that with the inspiring and encouraging speeches of today's speakers, all of you have found Japan interesting and attractive, and will think of revisiting Japan for research, study, work, and so on. I'd like to express my deep appreciation to all the speakers for their contribution today. I should also express my deep appreciation to the coordinators of Sakura Science Club Alumni Association of Sri Lanka and the NSF National Science Foundation officials for their time and devotion to make today's event a success. Especially Shantashri-san for your excellent management of today's webinar as MC, and Dilrukshi Ekanayake-san as main coordinator of this alumni association. She will speak next to me. Finally, let me touch upon the future activity of the Sakura Science Club. Another alumni meeting of the Sakura Science Club Indonesia is scheduled on July 31st. And also similar meetings of Vietnam and Malaysia are also scheduled within this year. So please stay in touch with the Sakura Science Club through our Sakura website, Facebook, mail magazines, and so on. I look forward to seeing you at the future Sakura Science Club events and also seeing you in Japan and in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kuroki, for your kind concluding words. And of course, we will be stay in touch with the other alumni meetings as you highlighted. Thank you. And now I invite Ms. Dilrukshi Ekanayake. She is the Senior Scientific Officer, International Liaison Division of the National Science Foundation. She is the main coordinator of the Sakura Science Club Alumni Association in Sri Lanka. Over to you, Ms. Dilrukshi.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you proceed. Okay.
Yes. It is my great pleasure to make concluding remarks at this very important event today. I believe that empowering the young researchers is an investment for the future of any country because they can contribute to socio-economic development of the country. I'm sure the informative presentations have educated you regarding the available opportunities in Japan for early career researchers. Because of the time limitation, I'm not going to reiterate those points. We intend to organize this type of events in the future, hoping to open more avenues to our young researchers. I think JST and the embassy will support us in this endeavor. Without taking much of your time, I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the distinguished guests, His Excellency Mr. Sugiyama Akira, Ambassador of Japan in Sri Lanka, His Excellency Mr. Sanjiv Gunasekara, Ambassador of Sri Lanka in Japan, Dr. KISHI Teruo, Director General of Sakura Science Program, Ms. OBUCHI Yuko, Chief Secretary, Japan-Sri Lanka Parliamentary Friendship Association, and Professor Montikasi, President and Chair of the Board, Akita International University. Please accept my sincere appreciation for your participation and also for your encouraging words. Your participation is a great honor for us. I would like to extend sincere appreciation for the two presenters from JST, Dr. Kawabata Ken and Mr. Aoki Kazuhiko, for providing us the important information about the Asia and SATRIC programs. Dr. Thamara, thank you for joining with us today and also your encouraging words. Dr. Nanda Gunawardena shared his own experience as a researcher who is doing collaborative research, where he highlighted key points for making effective collaboration with Japanese prestigious universities and S&T institutions. Thank you, Dr. Nanda Gunawardena, for your sharing experience with us and also for your kind invitation to join with the oncoming event in the future. Once again, Dr. Gunawardena, thank you so much. I highly appreciate Ms. Amali and Mr. Charit for your enthusiasm to develop your career in the field of research. It was noticed that you took great efforts to make interesting presentations. Mr. Nishikawa and the team JST and GSTEC helped us to organize this event successfully. I should say this, I always received positive and delighted responses from Mr. Nishikawa. Thank you, Mr. Nishikawa and the team JST and GSTEC for your untiring efforts to organize a successful event today. It is a pleasure to remind supports of the coordinators, Mr. Udita, Mr. Nimanta, and Mr. Mananjaya to organize this event. Especially, Mr. Udita took his maximum effort to have a remarkable event today. I would like to express my appreciation to Dr. Thamara Dias, Additional Director of the National Science Foundation, for delivering the welcome speech, and Mr. Shantasiri, Head of International Liaison Division, for moderating the event. Finally, I would like to extend my deep appreciation for the participants for being with us today. Thank you all for your patience. I wish you all a very good afternoon. Stay safe.
Thank you, Dilrukshi, for your concluding remarks. This come to end of the today's second alumni meeting of the Sakura Science Club Alumni Association of Sri Lanka, co-hosted by the Japan Science and Technology Agency and the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka. Thank you very much for all. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for organizing the event.
Thank you.